Hello fellow coffee botherers, I'm Kev from coffeeblog.co.uk and in this video I'm going to be doing a tutorial on steaming milk with the new Gaggia Classic Pro 2019. Okay, so I'll show you what I'm going to do and then I'll do it. I'm showing you first and talking you through it because I probably won't tell you properly while I'm doing it because I'm not great at multitasking. So first thing is, with the Gaggia Classic Pro 2019, I'd recommend, and this is what I've found has been the way to get the best out of this particular machine in terms of the boiler and the particular steam tip this machine has, which is a 2-hole steam tip as opposed to the single hole tip on the Rancilio Silvia steam one that most of the pre-2009 machines were modded with. This has a 2-hole steam tip, same small boiler, and what you get as a result of that is you end up with a really fast, powerful, aggressive steam cycle, which means you don't have quite as much time to get things right. You have a smaller window of opportunity. On the plus side, it's quicker than steaming with the older Classic, and it's quicker than steaming with certainly most lower cost home barista machines, but even some much more expensive heat exchange machines and dual boiler machines. I found this particular machine, the new Gaggia Classic Pro, is actually around the same or even quicker than. I've been using the Profitec Pro 600, which is a dual boiler machine, and this actually gets up to temperature, gets it steamed and up to temperature slightly quicker than with the Profitec Pro 600, both using 2-hole steam tips. I do think if you use a 4-hole steam tip that also comes with the Profitec Pro 600 that I haven't got, that would probably steam it quicker, but both are the same steam tip, the 2-hole steam tip. The Gaggia Classic is actually quicker, and I think the reason for that is just because you've got a really aggressive steam delivery from this tiny little boiler via this 2-hole steam tip. But for that reason, I've found, doing some experimentation, there's a real specific knack of getting the steam right on the Classic. You've got to get a few things right, and I'm going to show you what they are. I'll tell you first and then I'll show you. So the first thing is to turn the steam on and don't wait for the steam light to come on. I did say this in a blog post I published on coffeeblog.co.uk a while back about the original Classic, that I found that if you turned the steam on and then started the steam after maybe about 10 seconds and didn't wait for the steam light to come on, you got more use of the small boiler. You wasted less steam. And the same is true of the Gaggia Classic Pro, but I've found from doing some experimenting, it's about 6-7 seconds ish. I purged the one at about 6 or 7 seconds, maybe 8 seconds, depending on how fast I'm counting. And when I can see that water's gonna steam starts to come out, I start then. I don't wait for the steam light to come on. And as I say, that just allows you to get a bit more use of the steam that has been created, because you don't have a great deal of steam. You have a lot of power, but you don't have a lot of it, so you have to get in there early. So that's what I'll do first. I'll turn the steam on, purge it after about 6-7 seconds. Once steam comes out, I'll then start steaming. Now, the other important thing is the angle of the wand and the angle of the steam tip and the angle of the jug. Really important, because at first I was really struggling to steam with this until I figured that out. You don't have much clearance between the side of the frame here, near the drip tray, and the side of your jug. So I've found that bringing the wand out to bang on 3 o'clock or 1/4 past, depending if you're talking about the hour hand or the minute hand. So bring it straight out, not up here, not down here, but straight out. That gives you the most clearance from that, if you know what I mean, because it's like circular. So you want as much clearance as you can. If you can see, let me just change the angle of the camera slightly. So in terms of the angle of the jug, I'm putting the rubber burn guard thing kind of into the spout, but just sort of the side of the spout, so it's kind of just resting on the side, not tucked in to the spout as if I was doing it like that, but like that, just sort of to the side, if that makes sense. So it's not sort of jammed in there, it's just to the side. And then I'm tilting the jug kind of diagonally back to like 2 o'clock. So that was 12, that's 2, that's 3. So It isn't just out that way, it's back that way as well. And the reason I say that I'm holding it just on the side of the spout is that if I try and do it into the actual spout like that, I find I can't get the right tilt. So I'm just moving the jug round slightly, so I'm locking this anti-burn guard rubber thing sort of at this side just as you go into the spout, and then I'm tilting the jug up like that. In terms of the milk in the jug, if you can see, about a centimetre from the start of the indentation in the spout, so just over half full. Definitely not half empty, because I'm an optimist. And when you start off, you just want the tip just submerged, just slightly submerged. If you start off and it's too deep, you need to quickly, and you'll know it's too deep because you won't be getting any aeration, you won't be getting any hissing sound, and if you leave it there for long enough, you'll start getting a screaming sound, which is the milk screaming at you that you've not put any air into it, and all you're doing then is heating the milk up. You're not aerating it, you're not stretching it. So I'll turn the steam on and then count to about 6 or 7. The steam's on. 4, 5, 6, and now we'll purge, and you can see the steam starting to flow. So that tilt we're talking about. So there were a few aggressive aerations there, a little bit more than I'd like actually. I might have gone a bit dry with the foam, I might have gone a bit cappuccino rather than flat white, but it's just rolling now and heating, and that is plenty warm enough. You see how quick that was? Remember to turn the steam off. That's the one thing I'm always doing with this machine, is forgetting to turn the steam off, which is a pain. So let's try pouring this. Texture looks really good. Let me just turn the camera around slightly. Decent texture. Not bad. As you can see, it's really good texture, so it's allowed me to pour latte art. You're not seeing as much definition there as if I'd used a full double shot of espresso. I'm trying to get a few pours from each shot of espresso, so there's not as much contrast as there usually would be, but you can see the latte art there, so you can see the texture of the milk, which is the important thing. Not bad. Do another one. So once again, turn the steam on, count for 6 or 7 seconds, and then purge. You see the steam starting. Tilt to about 2 o'clock, that way, and then see, that's my aeration done. Yeah, that 1, 2, 3, 4, that was like 4 bursts of aeration, and then that's it, just heating and rolling. And that is hot enough. Don't forget to purge your wand after, of course, and wipe it. Make sure you get the back of the tip as well, because I've usually found I miss that and I have a streak of dried milk at the back, which is a bit rank. Pretty good texture. Not quite as happy with the texture that time actually, it's still not bad. but I've not quite nailed the texture. But it's alright, let's have another go. We'll try it again, and again I'll just tell you the theory. The anti-burn guard sort of tucked in to the left hand side of the spout, and a bit of an angle there, and then tilted up with this part, you know, the base of the jug going upwards towards 2 o'clock. The actual wand is sticking out at 3 o'clock to give you maximum clearance from the frame, and then you're not coming out to 3 o'clock like that, you're going to 2, so it's back and out, so you're going to sort of 2 o'clock, if that makes sense. So again, I've got the milk in to about 1 centimetre under the indentation of the spout. Turn the steam on, purge it after about 6-7 seconds. Steam started. There we go. It's getting glossy, got enough air in, so I've just lifted the jug up ever so slightly. Try and stop aerating as much, or stop aerating altogether. Just roll now, just get the milk rolling, get that microfoam distributing throughout the rest of the milk. Boom. Clean the wand. Purge it, turn the steam off, try and get into the habit of turning the steam off because I keep forgetting. Nice and glossy. Let's see if I can avoid messing it up, as I usually do on camera. I mean, I normally mess it up, not I normally avoid messing it up. I'm going to go for basic shapes today. Tulip, because I normally don't pour my best latte out on camera because I'm concentrating too much on talking to you and not enough on what I'm doing. So there you go, a quick instructional video on steaming milk with the Gaggia Classic Pro. And as I said, a few key things. One is how much milk you're using. So I'd normally fill it just to the start of the indentation of the spout on most jugs, but you know, you can play around with that. Don't forget to turn your steam on. Don't forget to turn the steam off as well after. One thing I do quite often on this machine, and that I did quite often on the original Gaggia Classic, is I would leave the steam on and then go to pull a shot and think, what have I done? Oh, I've left the steam on. So don't forget to turn the steam off. But going through this again, going through the actual steaming, you want the steam one going in at an angle. You don't want it bang in the centre. I find that somewhere in between the middle and the edge of the jug is where you want it, as I showed when I was doing it. And you want to start off with this machine, you want to get in early with this stretching. What some people will do is start off with the tip deeper into the milk and then gradually pull the jug down, and that's how a lot of people are taught. And you can get away with that on the Sage Bambino Plus. Definitely you can get away with that on other Sage machines, the Sage Barista Express and the Sage Barista Pro. They've got a less intense steam power. It achieves the same thing, but it does it slightly slower and it gives you more time to tweak what you're doing. With this, you've got a lot of power quite quickly and you need to get that level right. You need to get the angle and get the hissing, get the stretching, so that hissing sound, going quite quickly. And it's a fine line between starting off with the steam holes too high up in the surface of the milk and ending up with that glug glug sound where you're creating too big of bubbles, and having it too deep into the milk and ended up with that screaming sound from the milk, where the milk screaming, "Stop! You've not put any air into me." It's just getting that right, it's just getting the knack, but you need to do it quite early on in this machine. It's not as forgiving, as I said, as some machines like the Sage Bambino Plus that I've done videos on recently. That is quite forgiving in that regard. This isn't. You have to get that position right, you have to get that stretch in really early on, and then only a matter of, I don't know, maybe it's somewhere between 5 and 10 seconds of that stretching before you then lift the jug up slightly, and at that point just let the milk roll and either feel the jug and stop when you can't really keep your hand on the jug anymore, or use a thermometer. I used a thermometer for quite a while at first until I found that I could gauge the temperature by using my hand. And that's that. In terms of pouring, this wasn't really intended as a tutorial on pouring, for the simple reason that there are many people on YouTube who are far better and far more qualified than me on teaching you how to pour latte art. But there aren't many videos teaching you how, or showing you, demonstrating how to stretch milk with specific machines, and every machine is different when it comes to stretching milk. So I do think, or do hope, that this video will be helpful to anyone who's getting, or who's just got the Gaggia Classic Pro, on helping you figure out how to stretch the milk. But when it comes to pouring, it took me 3 or 4 years to learn to pour, and as you can see, I'm still not amazing at it. I still fluff it up quite often, but I tend to fluff it up more because I get the texture wrong. That's a difficult thing, getting the texture right. As I said, there's loads of videos showing you how to pour latte art, and more than anything, that's about practice. But I just wanted in this video to show you how, and demonstrate how I stretch milk using the Gaggia Classic Pro. As I say, hopefully this video will be helpful if you've just got a Gaggia Classic Pro, if you're just about to get one, to give you a bit of advice on how to stretch your milk. By the way, with this machine, I wouldn't go with a smaller jug like a 350ml jug. I have tried it with a 350ml jug, as I used to use with the original Gaggia Classic, the S Pro 2 that I mentioned earlier, and it's just, there's too much steam power going into it. If you're not very careful, you end up with milk everywhere. I find that you're better with a slightly bigger milk jug. So that's it. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please give me a like. Thank you very much. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, click this image here and subscribe to my channel. Tatty bye.